Hello and welcome to the fourth video in my series, My Journey into Stacking. In previous videos, I looked at my first purchase of gold and silver American Eagles, my second purchase, which was Morgan and Peace silver dollars, and third, my first silver starter pack, which I picked up from the Money Metals Exchange. Today, I'm going to look at my first significant purchase of foreign silver coins, specific Royal Canadian Maple Leafs, and British Britannias. First, starting with the Britannia. The Britannia is produced by the British Royal Mint. The 1 ounce Silver Britannia has a face value of £2 sterling. The 1 ounce Silver Britannia has been produced since 1997, initially at a purity of 0.958 fine, and then in 2013, the purity was increased to 3/9 fine. First, I thought we'd take a look at the history of Lady Britannia. Lady Britannia is a representation of Britain, first appeared on coins in Roman-occupied Britain almost 2,000 years ago, being most commonly shown seated with a spear and a shield. After Rome cut Britain loose in the 5th century, Britannia was dropped and did not reappear on a British coin again until 1672 during the reign of Charles II. Of the various designs since 1672, one that I particularly like is the Britannia that appeared from 1902 to 1910 on the Florin during the reign of Edward VI. This particular design was produced by G.W. de Saules and is a striking image of Britannia on the front end of a boat. So why don't we look at what I picked up? Okay, on the screen in front of you there on the table, I have 5 Britannias on the right, along with the 5 maples on the left. These were picked up by me in the last couple weeks, both through some specials that came through to me via email, both purchases from SD Bullion. On the right-hand side are 5 Silver Britannias here. The special I got them on was at $19.43 each. This was a few weeks ago, so it was actually when the spot price was a bit lower than it is now at $14.94. So it was about $4.50 over spot, which by historical standards is not a very good deal. But that was the best price I'd seen on the Britannias in the few months here that I've been stacking. So I decided to go ahead and add a few of them to the collection. Now, my impression of the Britannia. I guess what I would say about them is I really like the Britannia from a distance. It seems to have a really cool design, but oddly, when I bring it up close, I think it loses a bit of its effect. Bringing it up here, we'll try and get you a good focus there. So let's take a look at one right here. Okay, so you have the Britannia on the one side, and you have the Queen on the other. Okay, this is the 5th representation of the Queen since she was inaugurated. I'm not sure if that's the proper term. This rendition was introduced in 2015. It's got a pretty neat inscription on it. If you look closely there, you can see towards the bottom and then around to the left, it says D period, G period, REG, that's for Regina, and then F period, D period. Now, these are initials of a Latin phrase, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the Latin phrase, but translated in English, it basically means by the grace of God, Queen, defender of the faith. So that's kind of neat. I like Latin references. Now, on the reverse side, you have the Lady Britannia. And this is where I find the coin to not be as impressive when you bring it up close here, particularly on this side. It does not have the level of detail, for example, that the Walking Liberty it has on the American Silver Eagle. The Britannia seems like the details kind of blended out, almost like it melted a bit in the sun or something, which obviously it did not. So this is a 2020, and I'm trying to give you a good look at the Britannia there. It's a neat image, as I said, from a distance, but when you get up close, it's lacking in detail. It's kind of like rubbed out a little bit or something, even though the coin is exactly as it was made. So overall, I don't think I'm a big fan of it, which kind of surprises me a little bit. Let's put that back down there. Okay. And now let's turn our attention to the Canadian silver maples, which I have over here on the left. The 1 ounce Canadian silver maple was first issued in 1988, and unlike its British and US counterparts, the Canadian 1 ounce silver maple has a purity of 4 nines fine. Now, when we look at the maple, there's not nearly as much history, obviously, with the maple as there is with Britannia. The story begins, I guess, in New France, the colony of Britain, which was established in the colonial wilderness back in the 16th century. The heart of New France was along the St. Lawrence River from Quebec to Montreal, which was also an area where maple trees were very prevalent. So the maple very quickly became valued by the settlers for its wood and for its sap. And soon they began to see it as a symbol of the land. Now, as best I can determine, the first coin in Canada to bear a maple design was the 1 cent coin, which basically included a wreath of maple branches on the reverse. That coin was first produced beginning in 1858. From 1876 onward, the maple began to regularly appear on various Canadian coins, and today, of course, it is a mainstay on Canada's modern gold and silver bullion coins. So let's take a look at my maples over here on the left. Now, oddly, I mentioned before with the Britannia that I thought it looked a bit more impressive from far away, and then as you got up closer, not quite as much. I find the silver maple to be just the opposite. All right, from a distance, it seems kind of a bit plain and simple, but as you bring it closer, it really is quite striking. So let's take a look at the silver maple here, okay? So this is the reverse with the maple leaf on it. You'll note it's a fairly simple design. Trying to get a good view for you there. It says Canada. It has the 4 nines on there on the left and right. On the left-hand side, it says fine silver. And then there's a French phrase on the right, which I'm not going to pronounce, but I'm sure it most likely says fine silver in French. And then it says 1 ounce at the bottom. You'll also note to the bottom right of the maple leaf, there is a little maple leaf privy mark. So that's kind of a neat little touch that I believe was recently added to these bullion coins. Now, it is worth noting that in the past, the maple leaf had a little bit of a negative reputation for milk spotting. While that can be an issue with almost any silver coin, it seemed to be a bit more prevalent with maple leaves. And as you may have seen if you saw my previous video about my starter pack, which did have a random older maple leaf in it, that actually did arrive with milk spotting on it. Coincidentally. And I did note how the Money Metals Exchange was very good about correcting that issue for me. So I do, once again, thank them for that and give them a thumbs up. So apparently in 2018, the Royal Canadian Mint made some changes to their production process, which are meant to eliminate that problem with milk spotting. So we'll see over time if that proves to be the case. Now, when we turn to the back side, on the back side here, of course, we have Queen Elizabeth because Canada is a part of the British Commonwealth. Trying to get you a clear view there. Now, this side, this obverse side, compared to the Britannia, is much simpler and much cleaner. It just says Elizabeth II on the top, and then it says $5, and it has the date 2020. So you don't have the Latin initials and phrasing. Also, the Queen, her rendition here is much simpler as well. You'll note the lack of a crown. There was a crown on the Britannia. So basically, my impression of this coin is a much more positive one than the Britannia. When I'm looking at it, it just has such a simple beauty to it. The maple leaf, and if you look up at it closely, and that might not come in here, you get it a little bit there, you have some very fine detail on the leaf of the various veins within the leaf and the like. And then the background has almost like radial lines coming out from the center that add a nice little shimmer in the light. You can kind of see it moving back and forth there. So it really does look pretty neat up close. And then the backside, similarly, very simple, but just very, very beautiful in its own way. So I do like these two, these maple leafs, a good bit better than I like the Britannias. All right, so let me put that back down there. All right. And so to kind of wrap up, I guess the basic conclusion for me is when choosing between the silver maple and the Britannia, I definitely think I have a strong preference for the maple. It's just a really beautiful, clean-looking coin. Really shimmers in the light as I noticed it. That's not to say the Britannia's a bad coin. It just doesn't capture my fancy quite the way this one does. So anyways, that's it for the fourth part of my journey here. And I'll be back again soon with my next video. As always, if you liked it, please hit the like button. And I am a new channel, so any subscriptions are most welcome. So please subscribe if you have an inclination. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.